So most people can actually already craft the new Hydra ally, which is right here. You can see Startos has it. And I guess devs ended up messing up on the code or something because it's just a raptor reskin. It's supposed to have 2 heads, but it doesn't right now. What's up, dudes and dudes? It's the Arena. My name's Scythe. We are back here with some more Trove on PC, baby. Because today we've got to talk about some crazy stuff while also just doing some grinding. Also, just to get to the point, this is the Hydra ally that I was talking about. You can see I've got 9 daily token coins because I already ended up getting myself the Techno Tortoise so that I could end up being #1 for mastery with all these other fine, beautiful people. So there's quite a few changes coming around with the Eclipse update. Not too much from the PTS. There's been a couple things that are being added. One, of course, is going to end up being that when you log into Trove, you're going to end up getting a daily token. And then there's also going to be a new type of daily loot box that has a very, very rare chance of dropping the 18 token item out of the Radiant Dayspring. So in that regard, that might make it pretty tricky for the mastery contest because it means that potentially it's just going to be completely random because some people might end up actually unboxing it where other people might not end up ever getting it, right? Like that's just kind of a weird thing that they're doing. So the patch notes, they're already there. You can check them out. Of course, I'm not going to end up doing a video on the patch until the patch is actually here because otherwise I won't have in-game items to represent the examples that I'm talking about. And I thought it was funny too because the patch notes themselves actually says that there's only 7 new dragons despite the fact that there is in fact 8. They just didn't talk about, near as I could tell, the Divinity Dragon, or maybe it was there and maybe I missed it. I don't know. I just kind of rushed through the patch notes. I wasn't actually, reading them from start to finish as I will in the following video that I'm going to end up doing. Excuse the dog. I don't know why she's barking like a freak. It's like 5 in the morning. Seriously, just stop it. Jub, cut it out. But more importantly than all that, today I wanted to talk about something else that's going to be kind of been on people's minds that I ended up mentioning in my last PS4 episode where I was kind of talking about how the classes are going to end up changing around as far as the power is concerned and how the Neon Ninja is kind of on his way out. Now, Neon Ninja is always going to end up being the fastest farmer for sure, but the Knight's subclass ability, if you end up having enough PR, is a lot easier to attain, I would say, than getting the perfect ninja build. I mean, well, I guess not, because crit hit is going to end up being a lot more common when the Shadow Tower update hits because of the fact that we can not only roll our gems, but augmenting the stats on the gems as well, which means that making the Neon Ninja Rage speed build is definitely going to end up being a lot easier, honestly, so I didn't even think about that, but if you've noticed in my last few PC episodes, not only did I change my Shadowhunter's look, I'm preparing because the club update that's coming in the next couple months actually has a few new costumes coming out, and one of them is actually my favorite Shadowhunter costume I've ever seen. It's a Radiant costume, and I just kind of wanted to vary it up over the aimbot costume. But anyways, to get to the point, with the Neon Ninja, he, kind of ends up clashing with the other characters a little bit just because of the Knight subclass ability giving you movement speed while on a mount means that potentially a lot of other characters are going to be able to keep up with him. Not like he'll probably still leave them in the dust, but it's not going to be too bad. That's the real bottom line. And honestly speaking, folks, I'm just going to admit, I'm bored of the Neon Ninja. I don't know why I am bored of him, this character where you have to do 1, 2, 3 backflip shuriken, 1, 2, 3 backflip shuriken, and then here I am on the Shadowhunter. You just walk in, hold left click, everything dies, and this is more entertaining than playing the Neon Ninja. I think most of all it's got to do with the lag of the shuriken, as well as just the lag of triggering the 1, 2, 3 attacks. Usually you have to go for like 4 or 5 just to get it to actually end up charging. But the big reason why he's not going to end up being very good, he's going to be useless in Shadow Towers, and farming is, farming's not really that much of a deal. a deal breaker, but he's going to be useless in Shadow Towers because Cursed Skulls, both in Shadow Towers and in Adventure Worlds, are going to end up going invisible when the Shadow Tower update, or I guess I should just start calling it the Eclipse update, but most everybody knows it as the Shadow Tower update, right? But though the Cursed Skulls are going to end up going invisible, meaning that you can't charge your shuriken on them. Now, again, this isn't too big of a problem when you're out farming, because if you're out farming, you know, you don't necessarily need it. You're going to be one-shotting everything in U9 anyways. The only real challenge would end up showing up whenever they end up adding U10. U10 is confirmed. It's not confirmed for the next club update at all. More so than that, this is a little bit of a sidetrack, but I think we can all agree nobody cares about a club update more than getting the servers fixed. That's the big thing that I personally think that they should be working on right now, because man alive, it is insane. So with that, you know, with the skulls going invisible and not being able to charge your shuriken, it means that the Neo Ninja is just useless in Shadow Towers, because now you're just going to get one shot by absolutely everything, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're not going to be able to snare all of the enemies, because Neo Ninja was actually quite useful in Shadow Towers. Most of all, I'm talking from Ultra, because hard mode, you know, I know that it's difficult for some starting players, but eventually after a while, you know, hard mode's nothing. Ultra is the end game. That's what you're going for, right? So what you would essentially end up doing with the Neon Ninja is you keep attacking the crystallized skulls to build up your shuriken, while you let the enemies get lured away and aggroed by somebody else, and then you just throw a ninja star and it snares all of them so that they can't move. Thus, all of your teammates are going to be able to actually attack all the enemies without taking damage as well. This also made it possible for the Neon Ninja to kind of, it's difficult and takes a long time, but it would make it possible for the Neon Ninja to actually solo Ultra Pinata God, which I might try and rush a video like that just before the Eclipse update ends up hitting, if I can end up having the time, just because I think it would be really cool. I know I can do it, but it kind of sucks, because you just gotta use cheap tactics. You lure all the enemies into a corner, you know, including Pinata God, and then you just keep them stun locked the entire time. Like, look at this. I'm not uploading or anything, and it's not like, it's 5:30 as I'm recording this. It's not reset, which is 4:30 my time anyways. So this is an hour and a half after, and it's still all broken and gross. Now, the reason, of course, it's not going to be that big of a deal in U9, obviously, is just because you end up one-shotting all the bosses anyways. And just to explain a little bit here, just because I know people are going to be asking, U9 or U10, the devs have talked about they want to make the actual endgame of Trove, and they want to make it something way different than anything we've ever seen. This also made me think about that the club update potentially, it's not confirmed, is going to end up coming with a new biome. So most of all, the big reason that I'm swapping off the Neon Ninja is I'm getting bored of him. Otherwise, I think, honestly, I would still be playing him. But I want to play something, you know, that I enjoy, which Shadowhunter is always going to end up being my favorite character. For a little while, like, I kind of started saying that the Neon Ninja and Shadowhunter were equal for me, and while that was true, for the most part, the reason that I was even playing the Neon Ninja, and the reason that I had him as a favorite of mine, was out of necessity. He was way more efficient. That's, you know, that was a big deal. That was why I was using him. And that's the whole thing too, is, whoopsie daisy, we didn't even do the 3-star. When the Eclipse update hits, I don't know what's going to happen, you know, with the subclass abilities. I'm sure people are going to end up finding some types of crazy combos. It's not like the subclasses are that, like, crazy complicated where we suddenly have, like, 5 zillion different builds that we can use, because honestly speaking, only a handful of the subclass abilities are even useful, let alone the ones that don't do anything, like the Boomeranger's heal is just, I mean, we saw that. It's useless, and it hasn't really changed much. Now, in closing notes here, one last thing that I did want to mention is just that I thought was funny about the Eclipse update with the patch notes, is that they specifically ended up getting rid of the knockback for the Fey Trickster. If you didn't, you know, watch my last PS4 video, I was kind of focusing that video more so on why the Knight subclass ability is great, and why the Fey Trickster is going to end up becoming one of the more powerful characters in the game, not only just because of the #1 ability having stun, but they're also tweaking the stats like crazy. Like, the Fey Trickster is a boss. It's going to be a very, very powerful character after the update hits, which Fey mains rejoice, right? But anyways, they were saying how they got rid of the knockback on the Fey's #1 ability, and it made me chuckle to myself there, just thinking that they didn't end up getting rid of the knockback on the Boomeranger. And that one is single-handedly what makes the Boomeranger useless. You know, like, we've got the Knight and the Fey, which we tease at because they're kind of brokenly gross and not really that powerful. And then we've got the Boomeranger, which nobody can recommend just because of that knockback. And even beyond the knockback in Shadow Towers, he's just kind of gross. Like, it just doesn't really work. You have to use ranged, right? So anyways, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Very much appreciate it. Whoopsie daisy. I hope I didn't just destroy a little bit of my cornerstone. Very, very much hyped for this update, though, dude. Like, seriously. You can hear now I was able to get through this whole video without coughing, but I am still sick. I am still under the weather, and I am still, you know, right now, the point that I'm at is I'm mostly just tired and trying to catch up on some sleep, but I'm still prioritizing these videos for you because now I can actually get these out there. Now, that said, again, I'm recording this at 5:30 in the morning, so this is probably going to be a little bit late. Either way, thanks for watching, folks. Very much appreciate it. We'll give away... What should we give away? We'll just give away another 5 streamer dream boxes. So all you got to do to qualify for that is hit the like button and leave a comment in the comment section down below. You get a reply from my good friend Nintendo Gamer, who's going to let you know how you end up redeeming the codes. And then you can also subscribe, share, favorite, like the video, and all that stuff is going to end up building loyalty points you can use on my merch store for different rewards and stuff. We've only got 10% off reward right now. We're going to be adding more, and I'm going to be adding a new design to the store as well. This is the current one that I've got, which is this, and then my YouTube logo are the big ones. And I mean, this one's awesome, and the new one's really, really cool too. In any case, blah, 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 blah. Sign on, stay epic, everybody.